ACR just confiscated hundreds of thousands of dollars from bots mid-tournament. I've never seen anything like this, so let's look at exactly how this happened. We have an article here from poco.org. If you want to see the whole thing, please check the link in the description. By the way, I never say this, like the video, you bastards. So, ACR suspends suspected bot in second place. Now, to give you some context here, the ACR Venom tournament is a $2,600 tournament, and they set these huge guarantees. They took this guarantee from $10 million to $12.5 million in their flagship event. And the big increase from ACR, it wasn't guaranteed to hit it, and they just hit it. They just hit it. Shout out to them. But how many of those buy-ins were bots? Well, we're going to find out. There's an account on Twitter called MTT Database Review, which has been single-handedly sniping so many of these bot rings and bot accounts from a distance. I think it's very good that we don't know exactly how they're doing it, but there are some dicey things where perhaps ACR is finding out about these bots pretty early on, but not actually doing things too soon to take them off the site. Now, this is alleged. I'm not 100% sure exactly what's going on behind the scenes. Perhaps in the future, I'll be able to speak to somebody from ACR. But it does seem to be a huge problem. But I will say at the very least, they're actually doing something about it now. So let's get into it. So this Twitter account reported it directly to ACR 1 month ago, over a month ago. Including the head of security. He reported this with another 50 MTT bots. So think about that. If you've played any tournaments on ACR, and probably on most sites, you're going to have played against a bunch of bots. And apparently this person was reported over a month ago. And he managed to stack, he had 30 stacks. So technically, on average, he managed to stack 29 people. Of course, it's not all going to be stacking them, but he's got 29 people stacks in his stack. So the question on my mind is, what's going to happen to the money or the equity of those chips after this person or other bots have been taken out? Hatchet Leonard also weighed in on Twitter, and as always, I really like to listen to Pads about anything poker related. He doesn't always speak out, he doesn't always speak his mind, but when he does, he seems to be pretty damn accurate when he's speaking about these things. And I said this in the last video, but shout out to his Instagram stories. They are, in my opinion, the best poker content out there, at least definitely on Instagram. Go check it out. So he says, crazy stuff happening here. Second in chips was a bot account, which was flagged a while ago, and sit out with 20 stacks. And another person was just forced to sit out with 30 stacks. So overall, that's 50 people. And on day 3, another person was caught. He had an 18 million stack, which is 67 starting stacks. So another 66 plus 50 is 116 people's $2,650. Do the maths yourself. 2650 times whatever 116. That is a crazy amount of money. So my big question is now, what the heck is happening? Obviously, we're going through a big ban wave, but what's going to happen to the money that these people have taken off the site in the past and are now have taken off the site in this one tournament? So an update to this story, ACR has actually done the right thing. And yes, this is how I dress on my day off. What are you going to do about it? Probably leave a comment roasting me. You're very welcome to. And they have done what other sites have never been able to do, which is pay back people huge amounts of money that they have lost on the site to these bots. So people have lost to these bots, and ACR's like, hey, guys, come on, we're the good guys in the community. We're going to give you back the money you lost, obviously. So this one person, he said that he lost $80,000, and he got paid back 47% of $1. He got paid 47 cents. I'm not even joking. That's exactly how much he got paid. I cannot believe. And there's this other guy that got paid $1.25. I cannot believe that this is something that ACR thought was plus EV. Guys, hire me or something to be your PR manager or advice manager, or I don't know what's going on. But you can't, like, it's better to have not paid anything. It's better to have just be like, what money? I don't know what you're talking about. You know, it's to highlight it like this and be like, yeah, sure, you can have your money back. Enjoy it, sir. Is just absolutely bananas. And the question is, okay, should they be paying back more money? Because, I mean, we play on their site assuming that they're not going to have bots and assuming they're actually going to do something about all of these bots. Even if they think they might have them, they might have more of an effort. Maybe it's meant to be on them. The onus is on them to pay back the money that was lost. Maybe it's not. But to pay back 47, Jesus Christ. I mean, guys, get it together. All right, back to the video. See you next time. Patrick Leonard gives kudos to MTT Data review and says incredible job from him doing a literal multi-million-dollar job and helping our games to be safer, even if it's better late than never. Very interesting how much ACR confiscated in January. If $10 million, then it hasn't held them back from trying again on new accounts. So just what Paz is saying there, he's saying like these bots have made so much money that having $10 million confiscated from them apparently just doesn't stop them. Think how long this has been going on for. Now, it's so easy to name somebody a conspiracy theorist. In fact, I've had that label thrown upon me a fair few times myself. And if you'd come forward maybe like 3-4 years ago and said there was this mass problem with online bots playing these MTTs, I guarantee you so many people would have called that person a conspiracy theorist. And this is the problem with the term conspiracy theory. Some of them are true. So using it in a derisive or derogatory manner doesn't make no sense. In fact, if you're not a conspiracy theorist, you're not paying attention. Of course, you can go too far in one direction. That's another story. That's often towards paranoia or psychosis. So Paz continues, crazy times for online poker. Good job ACR shutting these accounts off and not letting them play. It shows their security team is on the biggest stage. That takes a lot of balls to sit them out like this. What he's saying there is essentially, yo, they could have done this quietly behind the scenes, but they just forced somebody to sit out knowing that this is going to get public attention. ACR, not so good in the past with their PR, with that 100K. Oh my God. Just remembering that, it doesn't feel real. That 100K bet that they made that somebody couldn't make a bot, then somebody basically made it, and then they didn't get that 100. That was a wild thing that ACR did. So they're obviously a little bit gung-ho with their PR stunts, but in this case, it does seem to have paid off pretty nicely, although it does obviously bring some bad press to ACR and the online poker world in general. Now, if you're sitting home and wondering, hey, I lost loads of money on online poker, is it because I was playing against bots? Probably not. You're probably just awful at poker, but maybe if you're playing high enough stakes and you're playing long enough, there's a good chance you're playing against some bots. But online poker is still extraordinarily profitable in comparison to fucking anything else. In fact, I did a lecture on this pretty recently at LSE, a university in London, and I spoke very adamantly and passionately and vehemently saying, yo, poker's still an amazing way to make money. However, we are really facing this big issue right now, which is the online bot scene. What are we going to do about it as a community? Do we have to bring back webcams? Do we have to have webcams on people's screens? And even then, there are ways to hack it. Do we have to have real names attached to accounts above a certain limit, or maybe for all limits? I think that's probably a good idea, because then at least the risk reward isn't so good. These people, they're anonymously getting, this guy's from the Russian Federation, McGregor. He's anonymously getting attacked. You know, he's probably trying to make enough money to sail off into the sunset, but if he gets caught, what's he going to do? He's not going to go to jail. Putin's not going to come knocking on his door and taking away the money that he's already stolen from people. So I think what we probably have to see from some sites is these, and it is annoying because you don't want to be the site that does it when everyone else doesn't, because then you don't get as many signups. But at least for the high stakes and probably all stakes eventually, you probably just have to have real names attached to the accounts. So when they get banned, we can point a finger and be like, get out or go to jail or something along these lines. There has to be more of a repercussion, because right now it's a little bit of a free roll. And if you're sitting there at home thinking, oh, maybe I should start a bot ring, don't be an asshole. Karma will come bite you in the ass in some way or another. We're at the beginning of this fight against the bots, but I'm sure we're going to have more security people coming out and finding new ways of tracking them down over time. And you just don't want that on your record. You don't want somebody to look back in 10 years and be like, oh, this guy also cheated. We can tell because of this that we didn't know at the time. And so just try and have a clean conscience, try and play fair, and I guarantee the universe will pay you back in some way. So let's look at some players' reactions to this. Baruzzi, a very passionately outspoken person online, says they suspended this account right before day 2 account was reported a month ago. Their inaction cost me a massive pot worth $30,000 in equity. And then tagging his own thing saying, hey ACR, this is a hand worth about 30k that I lost to a person that you just banned while the tournament is running for being a bot. Do you not compensate any affected players? Just 6 million chips taken out and play, that's it. Now this is fucking stupid. I see his anger, and I'm sure all of us have got a story, whether we know it or not, of losing money against a bot. I've got my suspicions about some of the people I used to play on the high stakes online cash game scenes. and a few people definitely already got banned that I was suspicious of, so my suspicions had tended to be quite accurate. I'm not going to name any more names though, because I could be wrong. But you have to also look at it from the other side. It's like, it's not like you lost $30,000 in EV from that happening. You could have easily won the pot against the bot. It's not like these bots are superhumans that can see your cards. You probably maybe lost a few $100 EV in that hand, and then variance kicked you in the ass. So maybe 30K isn't how much you actually were cost in that in equity, but I can understand the frustration hugely. Fraz Jacka apparently took a more conciliatory approach, very nice word, saying that all sites suffer from bots and that expecting no bots in a tournament is a pipe dream. Oh, it's very sad to hear, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, it's very true. And the thing is, like, how do you count bots, you know? Like, are you saying people that use pre-flop charts, are they kind of bots? What if they have like simplified post-flop charts only for the flop? Like, where's the line? Do you ever use pre-flop charts? I don't even use a HUD because I think that's an unfair advantage against the people that don't know what HUDs are. So what I would say is that we need to actually really define what a bot is before saying that it's impossible not to have them. Anyway, he went on to say the real issue is to focus on how well the sites deal with the problem. When sites screw up, by all means give negative reinforcement, but them finding and catching bots/cheaters just seems like they're doing their job, unless there's some part of the story I'm missing. Expecting bots never to show up in tournaments in the first place is just a pipe dream and not realistic. Every site will face the issue and it's more about how they combat it. As for the account already reported, a site cannot just auto-ban any account that gets reported without doing proper diligence. There are also tons of accounts being reported that don't end up being bots and don't get banned. Of course he's right there. I mean, I'm sure all of you have just fucking been like, you know what? That guy knew I was bluffing. He's probably cheating. He's probably super using. I'm going to report him and I'm going to send a strongly lettered email to PokerStars. And my name happens to be Mr. Karen. And I mean, it's very tempting to blame your losses on these things, and so there are going to be a lot of misfires when it comes to reporting. That's why I haven't reported people. I don't have any relationship or reason to support this site or any site whatsoever. I am just one who wants to support the growth and security of online poker. So we all have different options to play with, rather drag the sites down with negative PR until we have nowhere left to play. So it's a crazy story. Shout out to ACR, by the way, for having this ridiculous tournament that I've never played. I've never played on ACR, actually. First place, 1.8 million. Just looking at the people left, we have Heymonia. If that's the streamer, holy goddamn, that's big. I'm gonna go check that out, see if that's the actual streamer, Heymonia. Love that person. Moneymaker coming in 10th. Now, this would be Moneymaker's biggest score, apart from one, that I'm sure you all remember, if he makes it. So a shout out to Moneymaker, one of the OGs, maybe top 3 most famous poker players of all time, and has done the most, whether intentionally or not, for the poker community, maybe out of everybody. So shout out to Moneymaker. I think we're all kind of hoping for him. He's one of those kind of quiet and lovable figures of the poker world. Now, my take on this whole fiasco is that we're going to see a lot of this as time goes on, and we're going to get a lot of people complaining. As soon as a site finds a cheater and bans them, they're kind of between a rock and a hard place. Do you publicly shame them and then bring negative attention to your site? Or do you just quietly do it and then kind of get accused for not really being transparent? We really need to have a conversation between some of the top poker players, some of the top people in security teams, and say, how are we going to handle this? Not just from a data analysis point of view, how are we going to handle this in the future from a logistical point of view with webcams or with real names or something like that? And then also, how are we going to handle this publicly when speaking about it? We need to have a narrative. Okay, we need to reward sites when they manage to actually step up and do the right thing. We can't just be like, haha, I told you your site sucks. Like, well, okay, maybe it does, but maybe all sites suck, and maybe this site is doing the most to catch it. So try not to give ACR too much flack for what's going on, although you never know what's going on behind the scenes. So if more information comes out that they were willingly allowing bots on the site, then obviously that would be a different story. I know I look at the comments all the time, and I know there's a lot of conspiracy theories out there. And I'm not saying that in a derogatory way, but there's a lot of conspiracy theories out there saying that perhaps ACR allowed the bot ring in because it was good for their bottom line, having more players and things like that. Never rule these things out, as crazy as it seems, but also don't assume bad intention until you have very good reason. And that's going to be it from me. Lovely people, beautiful people. Let me know if you enjoy these kinds of quick news breakdowns. I'll see you for the next one. Peace.